Hello, everyone. This is the beginning of a short Bible study on depression and a short series on depression. For the series, we're starting out with the topic of suicide. This topic has quite a few misconceptions in the Christian community because a lot of Christians, when they think of the topic, the first two people in the Bible who come to mind will be Judas and King Saul. Both of them are bad guys, so it tends to be something that's pretty associated with bad guys. And then when this topic comes up with the good guys, they're a bit lesser known stories, so it won't be at the front of most Christians' minds. So for now, we're going to look at one of those stories, and I think it really speaks for itself, so it won't need too much commentary for me to clarify, I think, what God's position on this topic is. So we'll be looking at 1 Kings 19, if you'd like to read along with me. Any version you'd like to read is good. I'll be reading from NIV because that's one that I find pretty easy to understand. So I'll give you a little bit of time to turn to that page, and I will be giving you some background about the situation for people who don't know. So the main character and the good guy in the story here is Elijah, and he just came from a great victory where he defeated a bunch of bad prophets for an evil pretend God that is not the good guy. So Elijah is clearly a good guy in the story and just did a wonderful thing, had a great victory, and that's when thoughts of suicide come to him. So I will begin reading now from the very first verse. Now Ahab told Jezebel everything Elijah had done and how he had killed all the prophets with the sword. So Jezebel sent a messenger to Elijah to say, "May the gods deal with me, be it ever so severely, if by this time tomorrow I do not make your life like that of one of them." So I will pause reading here and see if everybody understood. So a bad guy in the story, Jezebel, is threatening to kill Elijah here. And now I'll continue reading again. Elijah was afraid and ran for his life. When he came to Beersheba in Judah, he left his servant there, while he himself went a day's journey into the wilderness. He came to a broom bush, sat under it, and prayed that he might die. "I have had enough, Lord," he said. "Take my life. I am no better than that of my ancestors." Then he lay under the bush and fell asleep. All at once an angel touched him and said, "Get up and eat." He looked around, and there by his head was some bread baked over hot coals and a jar of water. He ate and drank, and then lay down again. The angel of the Lord came back a second time and touched him and said, "Get up and eat, for the journey is too much for you." So he got up and ate and drank, strengthened by the food, traveled 40 days and 40 nights until he reached Horeb, the mountain of God. There he went into a cave and spent the night. So you can see here God's response to suicidal thoughts from one of his servants. He sends an angel, tells him to get up, sleep, eat, and drink. So there are days like that for a lot of Christians where they're having a very hard time, and it seems like all they can do is eat and drink and rest. And sometimes that will be all we're called to do. Maybe we would get an Elijah moment where an angel would show up and tell us that, but because we have the scripture here, we can see that's what God told his servant in this situation. And then Elijah gets up and he continues on his journey. So it's okay to take those breaks sometimes, and then continuing on the journey is good. What happens next in the story, I won't read because it's pretty specific to Elijah's situation, what is said there, but what happens is God shows up in a gentle whisper. And we know God will show up for us soon because Jesus has said he's coming soon. So it might be in Revelation, or it might just be in its own way God will show up if you're listening for his quiet whisper. So if you ever find yourself in those tough days where it seems like there's not a whole lot you can do, eat, sleep, and rest, and then trust that God is coming soon. So that is the conclusion of the study for today. So I'm going to end the recording and open it up to discussion.